Welcome everyone to ITD Appetizers. Make sure to like and subscribe, hit that bell notification to keep up with our videos. But today we are going to talk about New World. Amazon Games New World has been delayed again for how many times is it now? I don't know. I stopped keeping track after they've delayed it a million times. But it's been delayed not very far out. It was going to come out on August 31st, and now they delayed it to September 28th. The reason for the delay is they did have a kind of an open beta, or if you purchased the game or pre-ordered it, you could participate in this beta. They got a lot of feedback from that, and from there they've said that they're going to take these few extra weeks to squash out bugs, improve stability, polish the game up for its global launch date of September 28th, 2021. As many times as this game's been delayed and pushed back, I wouldn't be surprised if it gets pushed back again. I mean, maybe not. And that, unlike before when they pushed it back, it's usually like a year or two. Now it's been just a couple weeks. So, it's a possibility that it will come out then. I mean, I don't know why they just didn't go ahead and stick with the August 31st date myself and just kind of, bring out a day one patch, or, maybe just patch it a couple weeks later or something like that. But if they think this is going to improve things or help out in some sort of way, then hey, more power to them. It's better to release a great game than to release a mediocre game and then patch it up to be great. So, but yeah, so it's delayed again. What do you guys think about this game? Are you interested in the game for one, for both of you guys? And what do you think about this delay? Patrick, how about you, man?
So I'm not too interested in the game, I'll be honest. I mean, I really was completely disinterested in the game because it was being touted very much like Albion Online, and I did not like Albion Online. So, the biggest thing for me is I'm not a huge sandbox MMO fan. I can play them, but it's not my bread and butter. But I've heard of new changes that came along where it's more got the Holy Trinity. It's got dungeons and instances and raids and stuff like that. So I've gotten more and more interested in it as I've heard more, because the game seems to have pivoted from what it was touted back over a year ago. So, I was a little excited for it, but this push to me, I'm like, whatever. I don't know if I was planning to get it day one or not. It was just something that was kind of in the back of my mind and radar for an MMO, because I'm currently still playing Final Fantasy 14, getting prepped for their expansion, which is way more up on my list of want to play games than this one. But I want to play it. But this game, as you said, it's pushed at least 3 or 4 times that I'm aware of. I mean, we're supposed to get this game back in May of last year, and then they're like, yeah, we're going to push this and we're going to push this. And now they push it another month. So what's a month? I don't know. What are they going to do in a month? I guess their beta has not been getting some good feedback and they want to fix that. So, what are you going to do? You can't. I'm not that excited about it, so it really doesn't hurt me that bad that it's pushing out. I really wasn't paying that much attention to it and kind of forgot that it was coming out at the end of this month. For some reason, I thought it was coming out like here in a week or two, but it's more like 3 or 4 weeks from now. So, and now it's more like 8 weeks from now. So that's how much I paid attention to this game. Shane, what do you think about it, man? What were your thoughts on this one?
I don't give a shit. I don't. It's not on my radar by any means. I will play it if you guys are wanting to play it. Definitely, because everything's footer with my group. Perfectly fine. I haven't been keeping up on it too much, just with what we discuss as a group, because it's just not in my wheelhouse. This game is not. Not that it's a bad game, a good game. It's just not in my wheelhouse. I think delays are good to a point. I'm perfectly fine with the delay of most games, because hopefully that brings them more to fruition of what they're wanting to make and not what they're being forced to put out. And we all know how that goes when they're forced to put crap. So I'm perfectly fine with the delay. With most games, it sucks, but I think the game itself looks kind of interesting, but that's about all I could give you on it. Really, it's just one of those things that I just don't put myself too much thought onto. But like I said, I'm good with that delay. I think that delay is what's best for them. And if a month is needed, a month is needed. Maybe they'll give you something really cool for the pre-order people. Like, hey, we pushed it back and we pushed it back. We apologize. Here's a virus for your computer. I don't know. But what about you, Nick? I mean, how do you feel about the delay of this? Because I know you talked about it more than our group.
Yeah, I pre-ordered it just to play the beta. I played the closed beta back in the day, and then I pre-ordered this so I could play the somewhat open beta, I guess. And the game is okay. Like, it's not a horrible game. I mean, it's not as hardcore PvP as they were going to originally make. They're going to make a hardcore, like, you die, you lose all your loot type of MMO, which, those aren't super popular. They have a group, but that group is kind of small compared to the people, to the more casual player. So luckily they changed it all around, because from their first beta, which I wasn't a part of, or maybe it was part of the alpha or something like that, a lot of the feedback was pretty much don't make a hardcore PvP MMO. That was pretty much what it was. So they changed it up, and now they've had it. They kind of, like Patrick said, they kind of follow the Holy Trinity, and they do have dungeons and stuff like that in the game. So that's cool. And I played it over the week during the open beta, and it was pretty fun. I'd rather played more with my friends on there. To be able to like have a group and just kind of go out on an adventure. But the nice thing about this game compared to some other games out there, this is a buy once and then you play it forever type of game. You don't have to have, there's no subscription model to it, as far as I know. I know there isn't, but I don't know. Some of those pay for games, they do have a subscription model if you want to get like stuff for the shop or the store or whatever. I'm sure this one will have a store if they don't already have it. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with this game, especially being backed by Amazon, who has countless amounts of money. Like, they should be able to pour in as much as they want if they really want to make this successful. But ultimately, it's going to be interesting to see how the game is. Even if you guys don't play it, I probably will play it occasionally from here and there. But like Patrick said, I'm also super hyped for the Final Fantasy expansion coming out in November in Walker. So that's the top of my radar on my MMOs. I pretty much am ready for Endwalker. I do have a few missions to do before the Endwalker stuff, but that's really what I'm anticipating and looking forward to. But if Amazon Games needs extra time to polish up whatever they need to polish up, I mean, without having put out a day one patch or something, there must be something, or it must be a variety of things that are pretty big that they need to delay it, right? So I guess it's good that Amazon's allowing them to delay the game, but they should really, before New World or Amazon Games or whoever says this is the date we're coming out, they should really wait. What they should have done is they should have waited until they knew for sure that this is the date they're coming out. Because when you have so many delays, that starts to worry people. And then people who were interested in it might be like, I don't know now, because it keeps getting delayed. So that's usually not always a good thing. It's a good thing when it gets delayed, like Shane was saying. That's the delay sometimes can be a great thing. But when it's multiple delays, that's usually not a great thing. So hopefully it'll come out in September. I don't know. I mean, it could be pushed again,
Yeah, those are definitely warning signs on those, multiple pushes. But I did just get a news break. The end boss is Jeff Bezos. And if you defeat him, you get primary stock in Amazon.
You get 51% ownership.
That's right.
You have a short amount of time to kill him, otherwise he flies off in his spaceship.
That's right.
He flies off in his giant cock of a spaceship.
Yeah, his giant penis spaceship flies back up into the space.
Every time I see that,
it starts at Amazon on the moon.
Every time I see that, I just see that damn Austin Powers.
Well, Jeff Bezos might also, if you beat him, you'll also get a box of all opened, the RTX 3090 GPUs that the game was supposedly breaking when they found out it was like an issue with like MSI and a few other manufacturers not limiting things. So it's funny. So it is what it is. And that's, I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of interested in it, especially, did you play the open beta, Nick, that came out recently? Is it more like traditional MMOs, or is it kind of like more like Albion still?
They still have the whole so supposedly there's supposed to be more story elements. Now I got past the story elements to where now I needed to join a faction and do basically missions for the faction, like bringing in resources or killing certain things. So that's kind of like the Albion, like sandboxy type of thing, where you're bringing in resources to the town. But supposedly there's supposed to be more focus on story. Like they're supposed to have more story things. So maybe after you do that for a while, some story stuff opens up and you can continue on with that. It's not as bad as it was when I first played the beta, because I played the closed beta and again, I played it after they made these changes, but in the closed beta, it was like a lot of the missions were, I remember one mission was like, go fight like 10 zombies, like one of those types of missions. And then the next one was like, okay, now go kill 30 of them. And it was just like, what is this? This is stupid. They seem to have gotten rid of that because I didn't have to do that this time. I did have to go kill zombies, but it was like kill 10 zombies and then that was it. Right. So it wasn't like now kill 30 of them, now kill 40 of them. And that's how it was when I played the closed beta back in the day. It was just like, why do I have to keep killing these stupid zombies or killing these werewolves or whatever?
Because they didn't want to do the work and give you real missions.
Well, I mean, if you play like sandbox MMOs, they're very similar in that aspect where they have you do redundant questing all the time. Albion's like, go collect 50 or 500 limbs from a tree. And you're like out there. And they do have that stuff, but in this one, and they had it where I had to collect like 500 tree samples or whatever, but it wasn't that bad. It didn't take me that long. So, and those were just stuff to increase your rep. They weren't part of the main quest. It was increase your rep with the alliance that you choose to align with. So, yeah.
Did you get to do any dungeon questing or anything like that? Or
I didn't. Now that was in there. I just didn't make it that far. I didn't make it that far because they were going to do a wipe. They had said before release it, there was going to be a wipe. So I didn't want to get too far into the game and kind of get like all the nice stuff and then just get wiped out and have to do it all over again. So I was like, I'll just leave that for when the game releases and I can do all the dungeon questing and stuff.
Right. Yeah. So it's interesting. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It is what it is on that game. I'm not super hyped about it, but are you how disappointed are you in a 30-day push out? I mean, is it really affecting you? Because I mean, to be honest, Shane's like completely out. And then I'm like, I can wait. It's not going to bother me.
It would have been nice to start playing the game on August 31st, but I'm not like tearing up over it. I don't really care. I mean, the game's not $60. It's like 30 or 40 bucks, I think, to buy brand new anyway. So with that, like, I'm like, okay, that's fine. If they push it out, I already got my game bought. So whenever it does release, I'll be there, day one to play it. But other than that, I'm not too worried about it.
Right. And that price to me always says this is not a full game.
Yeah, that's definitely
especially because they're going MMO, especially because they're going MMO style and no subscription plan. I mean, you either buy a full price game or you pay a subscription price, or you do both sometimes in some cases, like Final Fantasy, an example, World of Warcraft's an example. You buy the game full price for $60 and you pay a subscription, but this one has no subscription and you're buying it for $40 or $30, I think.
Yeah, I think it's 30 or 40.
But you also got to remember, though, look who's pushing out, Amazon. So they might just be getting it out there to get their name in and get some recognition and all that. And they can afford to, take a hit on it for a little bit, until they get that game out there. And then they'll probably drop expansions that are $30 as well, $40 as well. So, I mean, that's just options, but.
Yeah,
right,
they could be getting it out to be the first successful Amazon Games game.
Right, because if they put any game out yet,
games get canceled or
right.
they die off within a week or two. I mean, they had that Lord of the Rings one that they were going to make, and they canceled that. They had one game that they spouted out. It was like kind of I think it was a MOBA or something like that like died within a week of it coming out.
Yeah.
I think they've actually. I want to say they do have one game that did come out and is. I want to say they do. I don't know for sure, but I want to say they do have one game that came out and it's mildly successful.
Well, you know what happens? They put them out and then people steal them off the front fucking porch.
Yeah, it looks like they've got quite a few games, what they do. So, it looks like the game is $40, $39.99 for the standard edition, and then $49.99 for deluxe. So there's a $10 difference in standard versus deluxe. And
what's the
Steelbook
deluxe
edition,
get you?
the deluxe looks like it gets you an armor skin, a hatchet skin, a house pet, a new emote, and a digital art book. Whoop-de-doo.
Well,
So
holy
now
shit,
for
call me
$10.
out.
Right.
Jeff Bezos emote.
Right.
He's your pet.
But I mean, kind of like what you said, Patrick, that small price point for entry just has me worried for the cash shop, right? I mean, because I'm sure this game's going to have a cash shop. All MMOs do, but I mean, are they going to make it? Are they? Hopefully not. But are they going to make it like a pay to win cash shop?
I would say
Right.
there's going to be some of that.
Right. Because the only other game I remember them working on was that Lord of the Ring games. But then I just went to their website and they have a game called Lost Ark. I don't think that one's out yet. Supposed to be another. Like they're just shooting the MMO market. They're shooting their wad in the MMO market, it sounds like. So
Yeah, that Lost Ark is an isometric MMO, kind of like Path of Exile in that same kind of vein.
how do you make an MMO out of something like that?
Path of Exile has been pretty successful with it, so
I guess.
they're on like their 6th expansion for that game, and that game's free to play.
There's something for everybody out there. So, I mean, but, Jeff Bezos may or may not get my money. It just depends on the group because like I said, don't give a shit. But pushback is fine. I think it's best.
Right. Cool. So it looks like, we're not all super sad about it, but it always sucks when a game gets pushed out, especially this close to release date. I mean, heck, we just had a game we were talking about playing next week that has gotten just pushed back like a couple days ago. So, it is what it is. Games are pushed out like freaking crazy right now due to COVID and everything else. But the New World beta, I read a lot more flack against it than people who were like, yeah, this is great. This is amazing. A lot of top streamers were like, this is bad, and I'm like, that doesn't speak well to it. So, those are WoW players,
mediocre.
Right?
It's mediocre. It's okay.
Right. But those are people who are WoW, though. The top streamers that I could think of that I saw, they're both like WoW and most recently Final Fantasy players. They're not playing like Albion Online. They're playing traditional role MMOs, which are kind of a dying breed anymore when you think about it. Not a whole lot of traditional style MMOs out there.
Not a lot of MMOs out there, period.
Right.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we've gotten a new one, and this would be a new one that's coming out, in a long time. So, but yeah, I would agree. I mean, it's the New World so far, even from my beta, I wouldn't play it over Final Fantasy, and I probably wouldn't play it over WoW either, even though I haven't played WoW in years. But so is it gonna overtake my Final Fantasy 14? No, but is it something I might play, especially since I don't have to have a subscription to it? Is it something I might play on the back burner from time to time? Yeah, possibly. I might jump in and get my guy leveled up and maxed out and stuff like that.
Awesome. All right. Well, it sounds like that's where you get from us. So anybody else got any final words on this one before we decide to wrap him up?
In the words of Salt and Pepper, push it.
All right. Well, you heard it from us. Jeff Bezos is getting 1/3 of our group's money for sure, and maybe 2/3. Highly unlikely to get 3/3, all 100%. So do with that with what you will. We hope you enjoyed this episode of our appetizers, and we hope to catch you in the next one.
See ya.